I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins. Thanks for tuning in to Your Working Life, my podcast series featuring thought leaders in the career and personal growth arena. Now, I know that you spend a significant portion of your life at work, so I'm on a mission to provide you with tools, inspiration, and resources so you can enjoy your career and love your life. And I'm delighted to welcome my very special guest to the show, Miranda Nash. Miranda, welcome.
Thank you so much, Caroline. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. We're going to have a juicy conversation, but I do
hmm
want to start with your bio and share with our listening audience your impressive background. Miranda Nash has over 20 years of experience, and she has developed a deep appreciation for the art of recruiting. She's come to prioritize working only with people she respects and enjoys, and knows companies can't grow that way without elevating the practice of recruiting. Like many Silicon Valley engineers, she is not one that can quickly connect with a candidate or establish trust, but she loves to partner with them and help them do their jobs better with modern technology. Her company is Job Science, and she takes modern technologies and front office techniques and delivers them via SaaS to help forward looking staffing agencies and companies recruit. They do the science of recruiting. And she's always been more of a left brain type with a deep appreciation for artists. With Job Science, every day she gets to work with people she likes on a mission that matters. So, Miranda, love, love, love your background. Let's dive right in because I, in the career development space, certainly have worked with many recruiters in my day. And
hmm
recruiters at companies across a wide range of industries are getting more sophisticated, more proactive, reaching out to people that already have a job, trying to engage them to consider switching, what we like to call professional poaching. So talk to me a little bit more about that.
Well, that's right. And that's the business, frankly, that we're in is to support recruiters to find the people they need. Because what recruiters are facing right now is a serious mismatch between supply and demand.
Yeah.
So the people they want to find are already satisfied and in their jobs, and the people frequently that are applying in mass online don't come with the skills that the recruitment organizations are looking for.
Yeah.
So that's why we, provide the tools to help recruiters be more proactive and to really target the types of candidates, the types of talent that they're really looking for.
So let's flip a little bit. And what
hmm
does this mean for the individual thinking about her or his own career, right? You need to
Right.
be all the more deliberate and thoughtful to take control over your own career than just reacting to what you hear from recruiters. But walk me through that process.
Right. Well, that's right. So even I see this as a business leader. My best people, I know it, are getting calls from recruiters every week.
Hmm.
And so number one, it puts in a responsibility on employers to ensure that they are continually providing value to their employees and that they're satisfied. But when you think about this dynamic as an individual, it means you need to all the more take control of your own career. Because if you're just waiting and reacting to calls you're getting, those there's very low likelihood that that's the best fit for you. So really, because you're going to be getting, especially if you're building your profile online and you're out there in social media, you are going to be getting calls, and that means you need to start screening yourself as a candidate
Right.
and really being deliberate about the companies you want to work for and go after.
So let's think from the perspective of a career coach. How would you
Mhm.
advise an individual to be proactive on social media and to prioritize those companies? And how do they do their research? What can they personally take control of?
Mhm. Okay, the first thing is, are you getting these calls from recruiters today or not? If you're not, then you need to work on your profile on social media because that is how recruiters are discovering the people that they want to reach out to and engage and try to,
Yeah.
create a conversation with. So if you're not in that conversation today, it says that you need to improve your social media presence. That starts with LinkedIn without a doubt. And on LinkedIn, it means, some of the basics, for example, having an appealing and friendly and close-up photo.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. We've all seen, the wedding shots. I even
Right.
saw, I was horrified the other day, just as a quick aside. Our listeners, you need to hear this. I saw a couple who were not in a
Mm.
business together. It was just the two of them on the LinkedIn profile. And I thought, whoa, how many times bad is that? 100. So there you go. Keep going.
Absolutely. So it starts with the photo. And then it's the next step is projecting the message.
Okay.
And if taking myself as an example, frankly, I'm not looking for a job at all. I'm looking to work with recruiters
Right.
in my business. And so that is very clear in my profile on LinkedIn. And when you are open to opportunities, you need to make that clear as well, and talk about your successes and really get to the essence of what makes you an appealing candidate. So that's all about LinkedIn. You also want to be on other social media, and again, be there with an authentic presence. This
Mm-hmm.
is something that I think, frankly, millennials can teach the rest of us,
Yeah.
which is how to combine the personal and the professional in an authentic way that is, that helps you in your career, but doesn't discount who you are.
Exactly. It's this beautiful
Mm.
combination. You know what,
Hmm.
Miranda? Have you come in contact with About.me, which is a great social media platform that has been around for a couple of years, but now they're delving into the professional side, and they have a backstory feature which allows you to talk about your professional experience. And I wouldn't say that it's a competition with LinkedIn, but it will complement what people are doing on LinkedIn.
Oh, that's great. I mean, we talk with recruiters all the time about using sort of more specialized social media locations, and those may be specialized to a given type of role or a type of, industry. And so that's another way to supplement as as an individual and as someone really thinking about your career, supplement the big platforms like LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter is with these more specialized niche domains.
Excellent. So coverage is important.
Yes.
I also think that you hit the nail on the head. You've got to tell a story, right? Not only about what you're looking for, but the value that you bring, right? And I think quite often so many of the profiles that I come across, people aren't selling what they do well. And you've got to be entrepreneurial when you're talking about the value that you bring.
Absolutely. And again, as we coming back to one of your other questions about the research, so part of it is projecting the right message and the right image online, and then the other is being very well educated and knowing what you're going after in the marketplace. In other words, in the marketplace of all the possible employers. And um, one thing, again, because we're mostly working with recruiters and
Right.
companies that are looking for great candidates, and the trend there in leading companies is that they now think of candidates as customers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I think when I'm talking to candidates, you should look for that. Prioritize and filter companies that treat and value candidates like customers. And it's fundamental for any growing company, because you can't grow without building the right talent and bringing those people into the company. So they are absolutely as important as customers.
And you really talk about how you are the science of recruiting, right? That's the expertise that you bring to the table. Unpack that for me.
Well, at Job Science, again, we provide the technologies and the tools to help recruiters, whether they're in staffing agencies or companies, to engage candidates like customers.
Right.
So what that means is it allows them to have conversations online, but do it at a large scale, because
Yeah.
we're working with companies that are not just looking for one or two,
Right.
but
Hundreds,
hundreds of
thousands.
people, right? But you can't do that in an inauthentic or overly automated way. It must appeal to the individual and be very targeted. So we help those recruiters be able to scale and make it targeted and authentic and relevant to the best candidates.
Excellent. Now, Miranda, you mentioned millennials before and how they do a
Mm-hmm.
great job of using a hybrid approach with their personal and professional social media platforms to really give us an authentic picture of what they're all about. What other tips do you have specifically focused for our millennials? Because they're changing jobs a lot, and I would imagine some of them are highly recruitable.
They absolutely are. And this trend in being proactive among as a recruiter, you might have thought it was limited to, executive circles, and that used to be the case, but it is absolutely not anymore. And folks that are relatively early in their career are getting calls from recruiters as well. And one thing that millennials should think about is we see it in the data, right? They
Yeah.
switch jobs, they value flexibility and change, and don't put as high a priority on ownership and longevity. It's more about accumulating and growing through experience. Well, what we find is a real value, especially to people who care about flexibility, is working with a staffing agency. And this is not usually something a millennial will think about because, again, it typically, historically, has happened more with executives later in their
Right.
careers. But the reality is staffing agencies are the ones who are talking to those employers that have the greatest and most urgent needs.
Mm-hmm.
And by working with, staffing professionals as someone who's early in your career, you have access to a much wider range of opportunities. And, you can even, by sticking with a staffing agency, have even as a temporary worker, you can maintain some of the goodness in terms of security and consistency throughout your career while working with a wide range of employers and getting a real breadth of experience early on.
That's great wisdom because you're right. I think so many people think it's just executive search for the C suite and the very top
Mm-hmm.
level, and wonderful advice about using staffing agencies. Now, I'd like to take that a step further and ask you, how do we find the best agency for ourselves, right? Are they
Mm-hmm.
industry specific, and should we look for references? So, what kinds of advice do you have about that?
Well, they do specialize. So you want to look for a specialist in your industry, your location usually, and your particular type of role. And what you'll find there, and frankly, do your research online because staffing agencies, just like everyone else, is projecting who they are
Right.
online through social media, through their website, of course. And definitely, word of mouth goes a long way in staffing agencies, and the best absolutely know that, and they will be completely consistent and reliable in terms of their follow-up and their communication. So you can very quickly suss out the good ones.
Excellent, excellent. Wonderful, Miranda. Thank you so much. Now, I know you are also active on social media. You're on Twitter and you have a great profile. So, good example of a profile on LinkedIn. Do you want to share your Twitter handle with us?
I'm at Miranda Nash on Twitter. Yep.
Wonderful, easy to spell. And what's one last bit of wisdom that you might have for the job seeker, Miranda?
uh, the last bit of wisdom is really to think ahead to where you want your career to be and take the steps today to make that happen. Again, by being proactive, by being deliberate, and not by just reacting what's coming to you across the transom.
Excellent. Thank you so much. What great advice. We so appreciate you and look for Miranda Nash at Job Science. I want to thank you so much, Miranda, for being with me today.
Thank you, Caroline.
And I want to thank our listeners for tuning into Your Working Life, where my goal is to help you design your career destiny so it doesn't happen by default. True career and life satisfaction is really possible, and it's time to embrace what you love doing so you can do more of it. I'm Caroline Dowd-Higgins. Take good care.